Welcome to String Theory with Anthony Douglas. I am your host, Anthony Douglas. At any rate, I've got some time here. I'm waiting for a ride to come in. It's just one of those times where I'm in this place and I really want to get out of this area. But at any rate, while we're waiting for that to happen, I need to talk to you about some certain things as far as musicians and their lives and what goes on in them. Every last one of us is different, okay? There's no two circumstances that are the same. There's no two people that are the same. There's no two bands that are the same. I hear a lot of times when I'm, people saying, I'll say something and they'll go, well, back in the day. And I don't know. I don't even really like to use that terminology, to be honest with you, because problems that existed then exist now, So similar problems, certainly younger, maybe generations that are just coming into the fold, you might say, that might not be aware of certain things, or how the business is conducted, or this thing might be a little bit confused, or a little bit, unknowingly they're making choices that maybe wouldn't be the best. But no, there were problems and I'd like to elaborate on some of these problems. Actually, there were problems, and people are saying, "Oh, AI is taking over." Honestly, if I'm going to just be honest with you here, which I always am, in 1990, that was a rough year for me. Let's talk about 1990 for a bit. And remember, it's, of course, the area that I was gigging in, the state that I was gigging in, the town that I'm gigging in, and the bands that I'm gigging with, in the whole scene, the bar scene, everything. In 1990, in my hometown, of Tacoma, Washington, Spanaway, Washington, karaoke had moved in. Now I'm not ragging on people that do karaoke, so don't take this the wrong way. But it really slowed our gigs down up there. I can remember people talking about it, and for me, that was the first major blow with AI, if you could call karaoke AI, which it is a machine that's taken your job in some instances. And I had gigs, around town, places that I was working, but between those places that I was working, there were fill-in gigs, filler-ins, and this type of thing, bar rooms that were maybe small, very little venues, and I could weasel my way into one of those things. And if I got on, and started talking to a club manager, they'd say, well, we need somebody this weekend. Can you make it? And I'd say, yeah. And then they'd tell me how much they wanted to pay, and I would say, no, my band and I are not going to do it for that price. And they said, well, why aren't you going to do this? Why wouldn't you, play our venue? And I'd say, well, I'm working 5 nights a week, so I'll play it here or I'll play it there. So I had choices. You understand what I'm saying? I had these quite a few choices that I could make, and things of this nature. So with all these choices that I had, let's talk about the club managers for a minute. They didn't have a lot of choices. Okay, they didn't, and we're talking pre-karaoke here, okay? They're pre-DJ. I mean, they just didn't have it. And they didn't have the digital technology that we do now. So you didn't have CDs. You didn't have these sound systems that sounded great on all this digital equipment. You didn't have stuff like that. I mean, you had records. Here comes a ride right here. You had some things, but you really didn't have...
In 400 feet, turn left to exit the parking lot on South Val Vista Drive.
You really didn't have that. So if I'm going to leave you with something, I'm going to leave you with this, that if you can wrap your head around what I'm trying to say, I shouldn't say nowadays, after that happened, after karaoke came in, musicians like me had a lot less choices, and it gave the club managers quite a lever to be able to say, well, we got DJ, we got karaoke, we don't need you, and this type of thing. And I had to learn how to reinvent myself to keep going, and we'll talk about that in the next video on how to reinvent yourself when technology comes in, actually how to make that technology work for you. All right, see you in the next video. And if you like what you're hearing, hit like and subscribe.